Jill's just coming online now. Wait me a second. And is he eating? I thought you'd be eating there for a minute. I thought you were eating your dinner.
Do you know what?
Go on, mate.
I'll tell you what. It's what I'm like for you, lot. Right, look.
What's he got? What was that? Look, a spaceship.
I can't eat it in front of you, can I? I'm about to put a lid on it. Now I'm going to have to eat it up later.
Good lad. Right. So, look at all them people on there already, in their 20s already, Jill. God blimey. Are we getting popular?
There you go. There you go, beavers, mate. It's a win, that's what it is.
It's because you're on, mate. Have you had your hair cut?
Yes.
Well, it's just a bit of spit and polish, was it? Is that all it was?
Yeah, short back and shine.
Right, well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Red and Blue Review. You know who he is. He's the world-famous Jill Holyoke. My name is Nick Philpott. If you like what we do, please like and share on our page. But more importantly than that, like and share on every other Palace page, because we want to spread the news about this show. Tonight's show will be fully interactive. We will be reading out all your comments, I promise you. You can see that I've got my iPad sitting there ready to go. But if you've got questions, do us a favour, try and leave them towards the end of Jill's bit, because we do have another guest this evening after Jill leaves us at about between 7:45 and 8 o'clock. I'll tell you about him shortly. We're going to be touching on the game to start with, first of all. But you can also we've got our own YouTube page now. It's called Red and Blue News. Also, our brand new Twitter page at Red and Blue News 1. So give us a follow. We'd want to see you on there. Spread the word. Tell everybody about us. First of all, look, Jill, have you noticed tonight we got rid of the technical stuff from last week? Straight away you came on. What about it?
Stand back in amazement.
I know. This old bugger is getting to a bit of technology. You never know. Right, everybody. So before we kick off and start talking about the game, I want to just touch on our special guest that we've had. We were supposed to have a young lady called Lucy joining us tonight, but sadly she couldn't make it. You'll be aware that we've already had Mayday Radio, Andy Ball. We've had superfan Carl Babs, plus Damo and his little boy. He was what a superstar he is. Tonight, I'm delighted to tell you, especially those of you that don't just follow this page, but you're also on BBS, you'll be aware of somebody called Clapham Grand. His name is Chris Walters. Chris will be joining me later in the show just to talk about, well, these people are barking mad, quite frankly, the amount of time they spend watching. I mean, I love my club, okay, but I haven't got the funds. I haven't got the time in my life to do what these people do, watching football. But they're superstars. Anyway, right, what I'd like to kick off with, if you don't mind, is I'd like to kick off, Jill, with the lineup from yesterday. Now, Philpott's player predictions this week, you'll be aware of. You may have seen it, you may not have known you probably won't have watched it. But the lineup, okay, so the lineup was pretty close, because I thought that we would play Loftus-Cheek as a false nine, which we did. Okay, I thought they would play Martin Kelly because I didn't think Tompkins was fit, because Roy said at his press conference on Thursday that we got nobody coming back. But Kelly was dropped to the bench.
Little bit of kidology there, I think.
Yeah, and so because of that lineup and because we knew that Benteke was injured, what did you think of the starting lineup, Joe?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was attacking. I watched extended highlights on Sky and Match of the Day, and they were they were different for once. A lot of stuff I saw on Sky I didn't see on BBC. So, but when I looked at it, I thought, you know what, that's a good lineup. It's not massively far away from one of our strongest teams. I thought it was a very good side. Before we pick
the nuts and bolts out of the actual game itself, I'm curious, because of the way we set up yesterday and the way Bournemouth came at us, do you think, okay, and guys out there, I'd love your views on it, okay, my question I'm about to ask Jill, do you think we would have been better off playing with an out-and-out striker as opposed to a false nine? Benteke.
We're chasing a win. 4-4-2. What was refreshing was they went 4-4-2 as well. As I saw, I'm not going to steal someone else's thunder, but someone mentioned it on one of the commentaries that I watched last night. The chances of two sides going up against each other at 4-4-2, it's a massive rarity these days. So you can see, you know, they need one more win. They do need one more win. So you know, I mean, obviously we need the win, so we need to go with our, you know, the most attacking side we can put out in the most attacking positions. I thought he set it up well yesterday, and I was yeah. For once, you look at that side and go, blimey, that's a strong side. The strong side to have at this time of the season, I'll tell you now.
Listen, and I actually agree with that, but I was just setting you up in case you wanted to come in and say, no, we should have brought Benteke on, come hell or high water. Before we move on, okay, because I do want to get into the game, okay, I want to say hello to each and every one of you who said hello to us on the comments so far, but most importantly of all, and I don't know you, I've never met you, but there's a guy on there called Matt Watson. Hi, Nick, joining from down under. Well, that's what it should have said.
Another one.
Yeah, listen, we are getting people watching this from all over the planet, not just live, but also on, you know, when John puts it out, does the edited version and puts it up on our Facebook page, and we are immensely grateful. So thank you very much.
Can I just say something?
Go for it.
Only because it makes me chuckle sometimes. We're doing this live now, but when it goes up on the site, it's not going to be live. So don't come on there and go, hello.
Hello.
Because there are a few people that go on there think we're doing it live, and it's like.
When it's on the YouTube page, guys, we are not live. I mean, it's hard enough working with him, and he's not nearly live now. If you look at the state of him, he's nearly dead as it is. But
I got him from work 15 minutes ago,
mate. And you know, guys, you don't know out there. This bloke here has been working all day. He's been home less than 20 minutes. He jumped in the shower. He does smell a bit fresher, I've got to tell you. Okay, and he's come straight on to entertain the nation tonight. So thank you, mate. The show wouldn't. This would not be the same without you. And I'm just sorting out. So why is Timmy not making the starting lineup? Says Ray. Jill, you gone? Are you there? Jill, come back. Jill's disappeared for a minute. I'll just bring him back on. He won't be a second. Jill, you there?
What did you press?
I didn't press anything. Don't blame me. Could you still hear me though?
Yeah, go on. I can hear you now. He let me accept immediately. Strange. I'm all gremlins anyway. So, why is Timmy not making the starting lineup?
Yeah.
I'll tell you for why. Because I think Wan-Bissaka's playing better than him.
Did he yesterday?
Oh, no. No.
I know we're going to come on. Listen, we're going to come on to that shortly anyway. I'll just keep your eye on the messages for me, would you? Because James Davis has said it's been argued that Benteke would have been able to reach several of the headers yesterday. But I believe, he says, that with him playing, we wouldn't have had so many chances. Townsend and Zaha opening the channels more, put pressure on the defence, doesn't normally happen. So, Ben, I don't know where you keep disappearing to, mate, but you've gone again. So you're going to have to request again, Joe. If you can hear me, you're going to have to request again. So while I'm waiting for him to come back, here he is. He's just come and join me. He's coming back on. So we'll start off with obviously the first half. We know the lineup now. Hi, guys. Sorry I'm late. Please forgive me. Are you back on? What did you push? Yeah. What did you push? I didn't push anything.
I haven't pushed anything.
Right, so we're going to do quickly scoot after the first half because not an awful lot happened in the first half. There were some early chances. I think we should have been 2 or 3-0 down in the first 20 minutes. It was one-sided going that way. Chris, what's John saying? Chris, Nick will get you on soon, mate. Oh, right, okay. That's our guest later on, Chris Walters. What did you think of the first half, Joe? Anything particular that came out?
Yeah, I thought. Well, nothing came out. I mean, there was no shots in the first half. I thought we handled them well. Once the initial first furious 2 minutes, when they come at us, and I mean, they should have been 1 up inside 45 seconds, which wouldn't have surprised me. But yeah, I thought we did all right. I thought we pretty much negated each other. You know, the 4-4-2, they got a couple of dangerous players. We negated them. you know, they had a couple of chances. We had a couple of chances. So, but yeah, I thought it was a fairly even first half.
I'll tell you what bothered me.
Everything happened in the second half, didn't it?
Of course it did. And I'll tell you what bothered me more than anything else is before the game, we were seeing Defoe's name on the starting lineup, and I thought, oh, you just know he was going to score against us yesterday, but he didn't. I was quite pleased. Richard Kingdom, who was there yesterday, a friend of mine. I won't use his language that he's using. He was saying he doesn't say what I'm about to say. He said poor first half, but he reckons it was even worse. The first half of an hour, he said it was really a rubbish first half, and I think he's probably right, isn't he?
It wasn't rubbish. It was just two teams negating each other, and so it's not going to, you know, it's just not going to be as fast and furious as you know. Eventually, one of the good players have to shine, and that's exactly what happened with theirs. You know, it happened with theirs and it happened with ours. So, but yeah, it's. I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, it wasn't Watford bad, was it?
No.
We were dreadful for 85 minutes and should have been smashed out of the, out of the park.
And it wasn't Sunderland bad last season, was it? 4-0.
Exactly. I think we're getting a little bit spoiled. So,
Sarah Pollard, when we're winning 2-1, why do you think sub-defender? Sarah, we're going to do that later in the show. You're absolutely right. Yeah. We're going to talk about that later on. Okay, so second half. The goal came from some lovely passing movement. Johan gets fouled on just outside the box by, ironically, Jermaine Defoe. Okay, central position outside the box. Lucas steps up and does what Lucas does best. What did you think of the goal?
Well, you're saying, I mean, it was a good goal. You know, really, really good goal. But if you go back to the Huddersfield game 2 weeks ago, it exactly the same, only higher, and it just went past the post. So, yeah, I mean, now we know we have got a quality free kick taker in right-footed. I mean, he should be able to flip those over the wall to the left of the keeper as well, or to our left, as well as going for the top right-hand corners. So, but yeah, I mean, it just adds a little bit more to his legend, you know.
And he's building one, isn't he? He's building one.
I mean, the thing is, he is a good player. No matter what people say, you know, he is now. He's what Jedinak was. We've got Jedinak back. But with the added, you know, I know Jedinak had that fantastic free kick against Liverpool, but you know, he is our new Jedinak, and he can. I think he's got every aspect of the game. Can you hear my cat?
Yeah.
Can you hear my cat?
I thought you slapped it then, just for a second.
No, I didn't. I slapped my leg trying to get him out of the kitchen. So, now I'm getting terrorised by my wife and my son.
Are they both there? Hi, Lisa.
They're always here. They're always lurking, aren't they? All the time.
Are they in the background?
Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
Anyway.
So I've lost my thread. Their keeper for the goal. He did a bit of a Hennessy shuffle, didn't he? He took one step to the right. Just a little step to the right, I saw. And then he'd gone too far and he couldn't get across the left to make the save. Would you not agree?
No, not really. I mean, no, because if he stands in the middle, he can get beat to his left or his right.
Gel's frozen again, and Gel's dropped off again. Right, while I'm waiting for him to come back on, it's not me, you'll be pleased to know. Normally it's me with the technical issues. It's not me. Here he is, he's back on again. And Simon, I can see your message on there. Simon Cribben has just said, I think Zaha is playing injured. Didn't see yesterday, but wasn't up for it versus Liverpool. Now, do you know what? It was your point that you're making is absolutely well made, because somebody else said to me, hang on. Somebody else said to me earlier this afternoon, and they said they thought actually Wilf actually had a relatively poor game. Guys, what's your thoughts on Wilf? Did he have a poor game? Chris White says poor first half, second half 2 goals conceded, especially the second one where Wan-Bissaka was ball watching, and you got to put that down to. We're going to cover that anyway. I'm just trying to get Jill back on, folks. He's obviously got a problem with his internet because I'm adding him and he's not coming back on.
I really don't know. Blame Virgin. Oh. What it is, I'm in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Having breakfast bar, and there's apparently the geezer give it the crap last time. because there's a microwave. There's a fridge here, apparently emits whatever. There's a microwave to the other side that emits whatever. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know why it keeps cutting off. I mean, I've done a speed test just before we come on. And it's running 170, so I don't know why we're getting cut off. It just might be this. It just might be because it's Facebook.
Every time you cut off, mate, I'm going to bring you straight back on whether you like it or not.
Yeah, no, sweet as.
You're not going anywhere. So, right, we were talking about I think was it Bekovic who was in goal for them. I thought we had
Bekovic,
yeah, I thought we had a little a one-step shuffle. But while we're talking goalkeepers, I would like, because every programme, everybody that talks about Wayne Hennessy has slagged him off left, right and centre. I want to put a nod out to Hennessy, because what followed next was a couple of opportunities where they could have equalised, and they didn't, because although they were good heights and everything else, they were good saves, and he kept us in the game at that point. Agree or disagree?
Absolutely. No. He made some good saves, and to be honest with you, for the goals, he didn't have a chance. He didn't have a chance for every goal. So yeah, we can't blame him. I mean, there's, we'll apportion blame as such for the goals when we can.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you've frozen on my screen now.
It's okay. I know Gel's on his side, and I know why. But don't worry about that. Just move on. So it was hardly a striker's. Where are you going?
I'm sitting at the top of my stairs.
Oh, right, okay. So it was hardly.
I thought it was my shit internet, but it wasn't. It was Facebook Live just completely stopped.
I think you're right.
So
I think you're right.
They've had problems with it all day, which is why us relying on this technology is always just going to cause us loads of problems. So anyway,
we will get.
On now.
Yeah, we're on, and everybody can hear us. So I wrote down PVA, good chance to set up. Wilf. Good chance to set up PVA. It was outstanding. I also thought I'll tell you where that came from. That move actually came from, and it doesn't happen very often. The goalkeeper, actually stemmed from one of their corners, and he actually came out into his 6-yard box and claimed the ball in his 6-yard box, and then released Wilf. And that was what I wanted to nod to him, because he's taken some absolute rubbish from a load of the Palace fans recently, and some of it justified and some of it is not justified. And I think, we need to praise the guy while we can. Right, equaliser. Talk me through their equaliser. 66th minute, follow a Wilf chance. Wilson goes goes down the other end and finds the net. Wayne Hennessy slow to get down, or am I being hard?
No, I think you're being harsh. I mean, firstly, it's a thumping header out by Tompkins, but instead of he just finds one of their players immediately who looks up, pulls it back, and whoever I can't remember his name now, but the first sub,
Callum Wilson. No,
it wasn't Wilson.
The guy that came on.
He was in place of Callum Wilson. I mean, it was an absolutely superb finish. He couldn't put it anywhere else to beat Hennessy. It just had loads of curl, loads of power, and sometimes you have to just put your hand up and just say that was a really good goal, and it was a good goal. So, and to be honest with you, chance for chance, there's nothing that they didn't deserve. They could have been 2 or 3 up in the first half if they hadn't have been, if they'd have fallen to Defoe those chances, I think we would have been down. So. But yeah, anyway.
Well, as the people are rejoining us again after the breakdown, I just wanted to say, remind everybody, we've got Chris Walters coming on, aka Clapham Grand from the BBS. Some of you, I'm sure, over the years have spoken to him. He's also a Block B season ticket holder, extremely knowledgeable chap, and I'm looking forward to talking to him later on. So, Chris, make sure let me know that you're on here, mate. Put a note in the comments so I know that you're on. Okay, so we'll move on then, Gel, 75th minute. Now, the crowd were really start. I don't know if you heard it on the commentary. The crowd had really started laying into Wilf at this point, okay? Now, could you hear the abuse he was getting from the Bournemouth fans?
Yeah. I could hear it, and the commentators were saying it was unjust. But the thing is, Wilf was starting to lose his rag. He's starting to get frustrated. And when he gets frustrated, he loses his rag. And, You know, it goes back to the old Wilf of when people used to kick him, and eventually he just turn around and kick them without having the ball get booked. And, you know, and they like to do that down there. Every time we go down to Bournemouth, the fans get on his back. You know, so I don't... that's better.
Am I the right way around now?
You're the right way up for me, yeah. How it looks now, yeah. So, but yeah, it was no difference to as per usual. I don't know if they thought they were trying to get to him. It completely backfired, didn't it?
And the nutcase that is Carl Davis, okay, said in his opinion, no blame for Hennessy on either goal, and I bow to his superior knowledge. The first was just frustrating, as it's about the only place the ball could go, and he's right. And Paul Carew says, my uncle is an AFC Bournemouth fan and was at the game, and he just said that it was a bad first half. A second half, he thought Palace would have won it. Okay, and I quite agree. So now talk me through Wilf's techers for that second goal.
He didn't. He got a little bit lucky anyway. With picking the ball up and inside the area to go outside to take on the man. I think he lost control of it. I don't really care because it's our player that gets kicked to crap every single week, you know. But listen, it is what it is. Referee could have blown up. If he'd have blown up, it wouldn't have been a goal. So, but anyway, the ball seemed to fool the player coming in on the edge of the area. So once he got past him, that little spin around drag and then
brilliant, wasn't it? Beautiful.
Time. Yeah, it was good skill, but you know, it took a big deflection. I don't really care about that. You know, he deserved it for that little bit of skill, alone. So it flies in the probably the opposite corner that he'd aimed at, and we're 2-1 up, and runs over to the Palace fans, and some idiots jump on the pitch. But anyway, it was I thought it was we got our just desserts there. I thought we were, you know, we were the better side at that time.
And I think the lovely part about that was that within a few seconds of that happening, and credit must go to the Palace fans that went down there for the day. I wasn't there, so you sounded brilliant on the TV, guys. Within seconds, they were giving it back to the Bournemouth fans. He's just too good for you. He's just too good for you. Loved it. Okay, so we'll move on to the 89th minute, their equaliser. Tell me what you remember about that equaliser. And you got a real shining light above your head, Jill. Really heavy light above your head. That's better. That's like that.
Well, Sacco cut across out, went for a corner, and it was an in-swinger, but it was swung out. I mean, there's no way Hennessy could have come for it. It was swung out towards the edge of the area. So by the time it reached the edge, you know, it was probably on the penalty spot where it curled in. Big flick on, and unfortunately for Wan-Bissaka, he was sort of ball watching. And I think it was King came in on the far post. Nothing new with conceding goals on the far post. I think, to be honest with you, I thought the whole game went tight. Bournemouth score, you know, from losing positions, they've got more points than anyone else, and they scored more late goals than anyone else. So, and we always concede a late goal. So it wasn't anything. It wasn't a surprise to me. But listen, if you'd have said, would you have took a point before you went? I would have took a point for that game. I'm telling you now.
All day long, but Troy's point's quite right. Troy's
19
quite
out.
Right. Sorry, go on.
19 out of the last 24 points they got. I mean,
really?
that's the fifth best record in the Premier League. Yeah, they are on fire at home. They just generally don't lose at home, and they smashed out some good teams at home as well. So, you know, like I say, I mean, on John Gill said with Bournemouth's record of scoring late goals, I thought we were a bit naive. Well, I don't think we were naive. I mean, just I don't know. I don't know why Bissaka was where he was. Why he just isn't? You know, he's not. I don't know. But
I'm going to ask you a question.
It's unfortunate. I ain't going to quote him because he has been superb in the 4 or 5 games that he's played. He has been superb. So
okay, everybody's praising the manager for this and praising the manager that. I'm going on the attack. Why did he not close that game off? On the bench, he had, what did we say earlier? We were talking about Riedewald, we had Fosu-Mensah, we had Delaney, wasn't it? Kelly was on the bench. Why did we not close that out? We've left the youngster exposed at the back. That's what happened. We left the youngster.
To be honest with you, who are we going to take off? Who are we going to take off? Are we going to take Wilf off? No, because we need him as a threat. We still need him. We possibly could have took Townsend off, but we couldn't have took Cabaye, MacArthur. We just couldn't have took.
Why could we not take Cabaye? Cabaye doesn't do. Hasn't been playing full 90s anyway recently. He's only been playing 60 minutes. I think he's in his contract now. That's right. On his back now. I'm sure it says Cabaye 60 on his back now.
That's his age.
Is it? Yeah, that's my age.
Listen, we can be critical, but I don't know. We drew 2-2 of them at our place, and we drew 2-2 down at their place. I'll tell you what. As much as people probably won't want to hear this, they're an average side, and so are we. So I think I thought we were evenly matched, and it's proved it. So they 2-2 at our place, 2-2 at theirs. It does prove the point that we're evenly matched side. So, but yeah, just.
Can you see Troy's comment? I think Roy was depending on momentum, but that doesn't happen against Bournemouth as they raise their game. And as Jill, and you're right, Troy, and Jill made the point a couple of minutes ago. And Chris Walters, I've seen your request, mate. That's absolutely fine. Thank you. Jill's made the point a minute ago that he doesn't think the youngster was Wan-Bissaka was naive, but personally, I think the manager was naive. We could have closed that down quicker. We've got this habit of losing late goals. Why the hell aren't we closing it down? And quite frankly, it's getting on my nerves. If we do that next week, Brighton will be all over it. I'll tell you, Glenn Murray, pop up and score the winner if we do that, play like that next week. Do you not agree?
Well, the other thing as well, for corners, didn't we used to put players on both posts?
Somebody else just asked that. Good question.
Oh, I didn't. I haven't said that. So yeah, I don't know. I just. It's frustrating. It is frustrating. And this is the other thing as well. We had this chat earlier. You said, how many points have we thrown away? Well, in the last 5 weeks, we've thrown away 5 points. That's all. 5 points. But 5 points. Where would those 5 points have put us now? Oh yeah, but you can say that. And then Benteke missed a penalty, and what's his name missed the penalties. The penalties have cost us. That's what they've basically done. The 2 penalties have cost us 6 points. So, it's and then add that, and then add 5 points on, where we could have possibly had draws. But the games are not 90 minutes. We're conceding in the 86th, 87th minute, and games generally last 94, 95. So,
yeah.
It's not like we ain't conceded right at the death. It's 4 minutes added on to last night, conceded in the 88th minute. There's still 6 minutes left, so we'll hold on for 6 minutes.
Well, Stephen Iles just said on there, should have shut up shot after the second goal. Right, so my point to you, okay.
So what do we do? Put another 2 defenders on?
Hold on. Let me have me say. I'm just going to throw you one scenario, everybody, and you can all come back at me, answer this. Bournemouth make 2 substitutions, 2 of their subs, both come on, have an effect on the game, both score a goal. We make no substitutions, okay? We leave out whatever it is, 5 on the bench, and we lose a late goal again. Okay, something ain't right. Tell me what I'm missing here. I'm obviously missing something.
Well, I would have. The other thing as well, if he's going to put that kid, if he's going to put James Daly in the squad, I'd have played him. That's what I would have done.
James Daly, yeah.
I would have put him up front with. I would have put Wilf out wide, and I would have played basically a 4-3-3. And just said you've got to be like an attacking. You've got to be sitting. I don't know, not as far forward, but we're showing the attacking intent. So I hope he gets a chance. I really hope he gets a chance. That's what I
think he will. If Benteke's injury is more long term than we know about, then I reckon there will be an opportunity. I mean, how great for him to go into our Hall of Fame if he comes off the bench next Saturday and scores the winner against that lot down the road.
Well, as long as we win, I don't care. I really don't care. I mean, they're going to be as up for it as what we are. So,
actually, I wanted to talk about next week if I can, very very briefly. I did notice on social media today, guys, that there's something being mentioned on social media about us. Okay, that we need to get our part up. We need to get the volume raised for next Saturday. Okay, because they'll be up for it. So it's our job to make sure we're up for it. They're talking about people, please, getting into the ground in their seats for 2:30, and hopefully the tannoy will be turned down a little bit so we can start building up the atmosphere in Selhurst Park early against that lot. Because they'll be up for it. It's our duty. I'm sorry, but it is our duty to make sure we're up for it. Let's get in the ground early, take our seats early, let's support this little campaign that's going around there, and get that place rocking next week, because that will make the difference. Do you not agree, Jill?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'll be there.
I know.
I've had about getting my seat there early. I ain't got enough room. My knees can't take it. An extra half an hour.
Well, it's 20 to 8, folks. In about 10 minutes, we'll be saying goodbye to Jill. We'll be welcoming on Chris Waters, a.k.a. Clapham Grand. So any of those of you been on the BBS, have you ever met Chris, Jill? Or do you know Chris?
No, I don't. No.
You never met the fella? Okay. Well, he's also a Block B season ticket holder, my understanding. He's been there for years and years and years, and I've never met him. Guess where I am?
Is he renewing next year or not? Ask him for me.
Yeah. He's out there. He's actually sitting there ready to come on, actually. Calgary.
I know.
Coming from Calgary, Talisman will be there. Simon, you're going to be there, are you? Perhaps we need to talk tickets. In actual fact, Chris has just said something. True, and it was a very entertaining game. So let's get behind the team next week. Okay, remaining fixtures, Mr. Holyoke. So how many more points do you reckon we need? What, are we on 31 now, are we?
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal just about did us a favour, didn't they, today, keeping Southampton there, but their goal difference is superior to ours, and they're still 3 points behind. So, but I know they've got a tough run in. But they of all the teams that are capable of pulling themselves out of it, I think Southampton are. I mean, it's going to be forensic, isn't it?
Well, you say that about Southampton. Southampton's remaining fixtures are Arsenal that have obviously played, Chelsea at home, Leicester at home, Bournemouth at home, Everton away, and Man City at home. In fact, I didn't realise that they've got 4 out of their last 5 games are at home.
Away games.
No, they're home games.
Oh, they're at home.
They're at home games.
Well, they've got a chance of beating Everton and Leicester without a doubt. It just depends how these European places for these smaller clubs are up for grabs now. Certain people win the cup or whatever, or it goes down to 7 places for European places now. So,
so how many points?
Troy said only 1 goal better. I think we need another 4. I do. I think
Stephen says 5. Okay, so out of our remaining fixtures, Brighton, Watford away, Leicester home, Stoke away, West Brom home. Come on, folks, where are we going to get Gill's 4 or Stephen's 5? Tell me what you think.
We'll get 6. We'll beat West Brom at home. I think we'll beat Brighton. That I do think we'll beat them. I think in fact I think we'll thump them. But they're a good attacking side, Brighton, but they're not so good at the back. So pretty much like us, really. So it'll be tight, but I think in the end, I think we'll thump them in the end. So,
right, and last few minutes of our bit, and Joe, I'm going to ask the people out there. There's 30 people watching us live. Any questions from the viewers, please? Chuck them our way now.
Last 5 for me. Come on, hurry up, get some questions.
Because he wants to go and have his dinner. Okay, and I want to bring Chris on.
No. We want to get Chris on. He's much more interesting than me. So I mean, so we got Chris Gunn said he reckons we need 8.
8 points.
And Troy said, "Oh, are we?" Yeah. So right. Stephen Hall said last 2 games for 6 points. Yeah, it'll be fine. I'm not too sure whether we'll get anything out of Watford. Depends what they're playing for this year.
And then Darren Humphries says, Wolf to skin dunk, smash the winner. How good would that be? Yeah. You need to mention the charity match, Ben Owen is telling us. I think you're right, match. Colin, I think you're right. I think Huddersfield will go down. It'll be, for me, it'll be obviously West Brom. I think it'll be Huddersfield, and I honestly think it'll be Stoke. Yeah.
Do you? Yeah, and I'm actually hoping. Yeah. I want it to be Stoke. I want it to be Stoke. No, you keep going. I want to tell everybody about the charity football match. Okay, so Sean Feeney, Stato Ned, okay, as we all know him, okay, he is organising his annual charity football match on Bromley's pitch. Okay, it's on the 26th of May. It's 26th of May, and he will be auctioning off places for you guys to play. So if any of you out there are interested, please tag Sean Feeney, and he wants to raise as much money. He's got a couple of charities that he's doing it for. I'll let him put that on the page, and it'll be really good. And I also want to tell everybody about next week's special guest, South London Press. He writes for South London Press. Matt Woosnam will be joining me live around about this time next Sunday night. We haven't got a Sunday game. No, it's a Saturday game, isn't it? Saturday game, the Brighton game. Yeah. So Sunday night, we'll be doing our usual review. And so Matty Woosnam will be joining me. I'm looking forward to talking to him. Again, all these people that are coming from all over the place, all to do with Crystal Palace, Andy Ball, Carl Davis, our very own Chris and Matt. These are people highly respected in their fields, and I'm loving every minute. Thank you for all your feedback. Okay, thank you for Ben for sorting out the questions, sorting out the guests. Thank you for Sean for all your stats. Jill, thank you very much for what you do. Apparently, they want £500 for the pitch. Ben tells me Bromley FC want £500 just to play on the pitch. It's supposed to be charity, isn't it? How's that charity?
I don't think it's for the pitch. It doesn't matter what you do. When you open that ground, you have to have stewards, and you have to pay the bar people and everything else. So it's not like they're charging £500. Oh, listen, I know Jerry who owns Jerry Dalton, who owns Bromley Football Club, and and if all they want is £500, to be honest with you, it doesn't sound. I know it sounds like it's a 500 quid, 500 quid, but this could be a speculate to accumulate, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean they've got to pay their people. I mean, you going to work tomorrow for nothing?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I get that.
There you go. I know. I know it sounds, but not many people will go there. I'll have a chat with him. And
Tim Davies has actually said. Tim Davies has just asked a question on there, and it's a question that I don't want him to answer at the moment and there's a reason for it. He's actually asking the question: what do you think about the main stand redevelopment? Right, Tim, hold that question for when Chris.
In a word from me.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
That's it.
Absolutely right. Jel, I'm going to say thank you, mate. Enjoy your milk, enjoy your dinner, and I'm going to bring my other guest that has disappeared off my request list. Could you please, Chris, request again, because you've disappeared, okay? So if you're still there, which I'm sure you are, request one more time, and I'll bring you straight back in. And Jel, we're obviously going to catch up tomorrow. There's another question for you down the bottom. Good again, Jill, as ever, Stephen says.
3-1 next week, Ben Secchi. I don't think he's going to play. Honestly, don't think he'll play him.
Now, of course, you've got to understand that for me, go on.
I think he's cried off. I think he's cried off for the season. I think that's him gone. I do. It wouldn't surprise me if the other day that we saw him in a Palace shirt for the last time.
Wow.
So that's what I think.
And you heard it from the knowledgeable Holyoke here.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me anyway. That just would not surprise me. So
you can stay on for a couple of seconds because he's gone on. He hasn't come on yet. Tyler's saying £10 is betting on that. Okay, here he is. Jill, I'll see you later, mate.
Yeah.
Love you. Take care.
Cheers, everyone. Bye bye.
Jump off, Jill.
I'll be going soon.
And here he comes. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce you all to the very famous Chris Walters. Chris, good evening, mate. Welcome to Red and Blue News.
How exciting.
It is for us. I don't know about you. It must be boring for you, but it's really exciting for us.
How you doing?
I'm all right. So I understand, a little birdie tells me, and I can't believe this, and I'm having a look at you now, okay, that you're in Block B just behind me. Is that right?
Yeah, row 17.
Have you ever seen me at Sellers Park?
I think so.
Oh, you really?
I think so, yeah.
Because
You're used to buying coins, no?
that's the one, yeah. Don't you think I'm a bit old for that? I mean,
You, I see.
mate, yeah, as you say, I'm probably a bit past that. So, and you've been a season ticket holder for how long in Block B?
8. So that was the admin season, you know, when we started with Venables and it was all glorious.
Lovely.
Went horribly wrong.
So, again, a little birdie tells me yesterday's game. What did you think of yesterday's game?
Well, we could have been 3 down in the first 5 minutes. It was absolutely shocking defending. I mean, Sacco and Tompkins weren't at the races, quite frankly. We got into it. And the second half, we should have put that game to bed. I mean, we had 3 or 4 clear-cut chances. And it's just devastating to concede yet again at the end. But, you know, I guess we would have taken a point beforehand.
Yeah.
It just feels like a defeat, doesn't it? It feels like a defeat.
Do you know, I thought exactly the same thing. I thought exactly the same thing. Can you see the comments that I go through on the page, by the way, as we're talking? Just make sure you keep your eye on the comment. And your mate, your friend, your pal, okay? Can you see him? I'll let you read.
Yeah, Carl.
Yeah, I'll let you read it out. I'll let you read it out.
That is rich coming from him. Do you know what I mean? He's bigger than me.
So tell me, are you familiar with one of the guys on there, Richard Keenan, just said there appears to be an issue with EHF next season. Are you aware of anything to do with that? I don't know if you saw his comment.
What? No, I didn't really. What issue in particular? Sorry, I missed it.
I think he was probably alluding to the fact that there was a suggestion that they wanted to move to Block E, okay, and an agreement even that they wanted to move to Block E, and that agreement has now been reneged, terminated, stopped. I don't know. Did you know anything about that?
So I knew that they'd requested to move. I had heard that.
Yeah.
I assume that's what was behind the fact that the season tickets were delayed for the Lower Holmesdale.
Yeah.
So they tried to work out. I suspect that the standing area that was then was discussed was a way of getting the HF into that area. You know, because there's no way you could tell all those people. Block E is all season ticket holders.
Correct.
Is it not?
Correct.
So imagine you're in Block E and you're told to move to, I presume, Block B, which is a worse view. It's a worse view. There's no way anyone would stand for that. So I think they try to get a standing area in to sort of, you know, mix it up a bit. And then they didn't get permission for that from whoever, the Premier League or whoever, and they had to bin it.
No.
That's what I would have thought.
Now, I'm actually putting a formal invitation out there. I've actually tried to contact one or two of the guys from the HF. I don't know them personally. All I know is what my views are on the HF, and I think they have transformed the atmosphere in Sellers Park 20-fold since they've been in their existence. And the last thing I would want to do, I'd hate it. I'd absolutely hate it if they fell out with something to do with Sellers Park and they didn't renew for next season. I would absolutely be as proud as punch if one of their representatives, and they can come on here anonymously, they don't actually have to put their name on it. I would love it if they came on here and give me an opportunity to interview them, ask them what their issues are. Guys, I stand literally right behind you. The row where you finish in 12, I stand in 13. So I'm absolutely certain. And Chris stands 2 or 3 rows behind me. Come on the show. It doesn't have to be tonight. Come on the show, even with a prepared statement, and I'll happily read your prepared statement out, because we are standing in your corner. But obviously we've got to accommodate all the fans. But what's your beef with Steve Parish? And anyway, we'll move on from that, because that's not what you're on. Tell us about what you do for a particular part of the fan base at Sellers Park, Chris.
Yeah, so I'm a board member of the Supporters Trust. Particularly, I'm the sort of spokesman, so I do the sort of press and I get my beautiful face on TV once in a blue moon, or do a couple of interviews here and there. Purpose of the Trust has got about 2,000 members at the moment. Purpose of the Trust is sort of twofold. One, we have a regular dialogue with the club about loads of issues. We meet them pretty much every month. So there's another meeting coming up on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And that's ended by Phil Alexander, all the heads of all the departments, you know, from ticketing, safety, all of that. So any issues that people want to raise, they can contact the Trust, and then we go through them with the club. So, for instance, a lot of it recently was about away allocations and things like that, and we pushed really hard to get those increased.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's also the other side of it, which is we sit on sort of various boards at FSF, Supporters Direct, Premier League, with all the other Premier League trusts. So there's regular meetings with the Premier League. There was 2 weeks ago with Richard Scudamore and the FA, and we all sit around. So we have a representative from our board there, you know, and Tottenham are there, Man United, you know, Man City, everyone, you know, raising all the fans' issues with the Premier League and things like that. So that's sort of how it works.
Mate, that sounds where do you find it? I presume you work full time.
Struggle. It's hard, and you know, the thing is, so I joined in 2010, just as we went into, you know, the second admin, and you know, Carl joined then for a while as well, and it's hard. We've all got full-time jobs. It's pretty thankless task, to be honest, and it can be quite hard. I mean, you know, we found that one of the things that we did, we were tasked by the club, was to find a training ground for the club, and we did find one. We found some land. We actually negotiated a price for it for the club to buy, but then the club didn't fancy it and sort of pulled out.
Is that the Trentham Drive one in Wallingham? Right. If you notice, Gilles actually asked you a question. Can you see the questions? Gilles just asked you a question about it. Is it true that the Trentham Drive training ground project was halted because the post office got greedy because we got into the Premier League? Was his question?
So the answer is no. We agreed a price. The price was fixed. Then the club looked at it and decided not to go for it. My understanding is then a couple of years later, they did actually go back in and contact them directly. Then I believe that the post office asked for more money.
Right.
That's but we haven't been involved. But, you know, the frustrating thing was we'd agreed, you know, it took months. We actually agreed a price and everything. But, you know, it's the club's prerogative. They didn't feel it was appropriate at the time. There were issues. The issues in, you know, getting the academy kids down to Bournemouth. It's not the easiest place to get to where Trentham Drive is. There's only really you know, but Spurs and Arsenal managed. They run services out to their training grounds on the outskirts of London. So anyway, so that was quite frustrating.
Well, I've actually got a couple of questions here that you know that I haven't prepared, okay? But I'm going to read you. We spoke to one of your mate, Carl Davis, last week, and he said you are just about as mad as him when it comes to football. First game, and who was it against?
Wow. Do you know what? Shamefully, I think it might have been the Charlton game. My first game I ever went to. So my mum's friend took me to a Charlton game. It was either the Full Members Cup final or a game when Charlton were used to sell at Selhurst.
Yeah.
My first game that I remember really well is that I went to was, do you remember the Chelsea League Cup game, Mudbath?
Yeah, I do. Where the ball literally rolled up.
Yeah.
Was that Dean Gordon's shot? Was it Dean Gordon?
Grant Watts, I can't remember. You know, do you remember Grant Watts?
Blimey. And then the ball literally trickled over the line, didn't it?
Yeah, it stopped on the line.
Yeah.
So that was when I booked. And it was pouring with rain that night, and I went with my mates from school. And that was when's that? 91? 92? I can't remember now. 93? People will know on here. I can never remember dates. So that was the first one I really remember. And then
keep your eye on the questions. Keep your eye on the questions, mate. Your buddies come back again.
Sure, it wasn't the circus. Very funny. Yeah. Very good. Yes. So, but I never went to Charlton again, so don't worry. And then, went from there. And then I got a season ticket in '98 and went to a lot of the away games there. And I've now been to, 270 odd grounds.
Really?
Most of which, a lot of which with Palace.
So how many of them with Cole, though?
Yeah, fair few, admittedly. We're at Basildon United this week. There's a ground.
Basildon.
Right,
I don't know.
Next to a tractor factory.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and also a pistol and gun club. So that was an interesting backdrop of a gunfire as Walton Forest put 3 past them in the first 20 minutes. But there you go.
Okay, funny you should mention non-league grounds and everything else. When Palace aren't playing and on the rare occasions you can't go, what non-league games do you go to? How many have you been to and why?
I usually go most weekends. So I do it for a variety of reasons. One, I love football. 2, I've got 2 young daughters, and I wanted to build them up, getting used to football, crowds a bit. And now the eldest has started going to Palace with me. She's been about 6-7 times now. So, bringing the next generation. I don't know. I'm a bit of I just find it interesting to go to see different, cultures. I've been to football in the Faroe Islands.
Have you?
Been to the last 4 World Cups. Going to Russia, which probably needs my brains testing for that one. I don't know. I just enjoy seeing the different cultures, and just how football's played, different areas. I don't know. I just enjoy it. It's just quite a laugh.
Explain to me Clapham Grand.
Oh, I can't really. So I joined the BBS back in 1999, I believe. And that was when, the internet was just taking off, really. I just started working. And the Clapham Grand was sort of, I lived in Clapham then, and Clapham Grand was sort of the venue, one of those venues that every person who's ever lived in London in the 20s will go to at least once. So I just called myself that. No other reason.
So is it also Clapham Grand on Homesdale.net?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Yes. Shamefully, I haven't been on the BBS for a long time. I don't know. It just got a bit too dark for me. So then I went on to Twitter, and that was probably a mistake, because that's even more miserable, isn't it?
Well, I have to say the BP. I think I like your description of the BBS being dark, because it is dark. Occasionally I go and plug this on there, or I go and plug on Homesdale.net. I'll go and plug the show on there, but that's the only time I ever comment on there. And you use Clapham Grand, okay? I'll try and work out what you think mine would be. My handle on both of them is really sad, really unimaginative. Come on, name. What's my Nick?
Homesdale 1.
No, Nick the Eagle. Nick the.
How long did it take?
Exactly, the most unimaginative name you ever think. Right, so you're a massive England fan as well, I understand. How many countries have you been to?
No, I don't. I don't really go to England games.
You don't go to them?
Noel does all that. No, but I think I've watched football in about 15 countries. So yeah, I've been to the last 4 World Cups, but I've never actually seen England play because of the ticketing.
But are you not going to Russia?
Yeah, I'm going to Russia, but I've seen 2 games in St. Petersburg, one of which is a Russia game, so that should be quite interesting, inverted commas.
Okay, I suppose we better bring it back and drag it back to Palace, really. Couple of questions.
Yeah.
Actually, somebody's actually asked a question about Roy. Do you think if we go down, Roy stays? Somebody else asked that earlier on.
100%.
You really think he'll stay?
Yeah.
You think he's got the fighting in to drag us out from the championship again?
Yeah. I would be amazed if he quit. I'd be amazed.
If we go down, does Wilf stay?
Now that's a better question. His agent is obviously agitating as usual, but he got a massive contract. He's really happy at the club. If he's going to move, it'll only be to a London club. And then does he start? I don't know. That's but then if we're offered 50 million, maybe. But I'm 50-50 on that one. One person who definitely won't be there in the summer, irrespective of where we are, is Benteke. He'll be sold for sure.
Do you reckon we'll get much for him, given his current scoring prowess?
I would expect him to go to somewhere like China, in which case I reckon we could probably recover most of the money.
Really? Yeah, that's an interesting point. I'd like to. I mean, obviously, I would like to see us get as much. What did we pay for him in the end? Can you actually remember what the figure was?
It's probably about 24.
We paid 24.
Yeah, around that.
And we get our money back on that?
I reckon we're about 20 million. Would you take 20 million
I'll
now?
take
Probably.
all day long. All day long.
Yeah. It's sad. I feel sad for him because, people forget he scored 17 goals last season. So, but this season, the injury just killed him.
Yeah.
And then he's rock bottom. It was just, when he missed, I mean, I don't know if you had the discussion last week, but he missed those 2 chances.
Yeah.
The first one was, he shouldn't have missed. The second one was actually quite hard.
Yeah, I agree.
Pass from Townsend behind him. But because he'd missed that chance the minute before, that was it. The crowd were on him. And he's confident. You could see him just shrinking to the ground. And the players just wouldn't even pass to him anymore. That was, I mean, and when that happens, I think it's over for him, really.
It's quite interesting. I'm reading some of the comments people saying that we paid 28 million for him, 32 million Tyler thought we paid for him.
These people with add-ons.
Yeah.
There's no way that he'll have qualified for all the add-ons.
I think Joe's point earlier on was quite interesting. He was actually saying that he thinks that's it. We're done here. We won't see him in a Palace shirt ever again.
Well, I mean, if you look at Saturday, we're a lot more mobile up front. Yeah, when you cross it in, we've got no one to head it to. But then you've got McCarthy coming in late. He scores a lot of goals like that. And we looked, pretty. I thought we looked pretty potent up front actually, and I wouldn't be averse to seeing that lineup again against Brighton.
Right, keep your powder dry against Brighton. Your mate's come back on, by the way, and said it was £24 million that we paid for him. Okay,
he knows.
Yeah,
if anyone knows.
Yeah, the font of all knowledge there. I know. Right, talk to me about Brighton. We're going to wrap up in a minute, but talk to me about Brighton. How many Brighton games have you been to?
Gosh, 8-ish. The first one I went to was, I don't know if you remember, I think it was a terrible 0-0 in Fog. It was a weeknight game at the Withdean. I think Danny Granville might have been sent off. It was a terrible game. And then I just remember we had bricks thrown at us as we got back to the station. That was fun. So yeah.
John's asking you the question. Would you play the same team?
Yes.
Exactly the same lineup.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would.
What about the back four? Any changes to the back four this weekend?
No, I think you've got to stick with it. Who will we put in? Kelly? I mean, I don't think that will wash. Even though Kelly has been bloody brilliant, by the way. I mean, what soldier he is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it.
Fosu Mensah?
I really fancy our chances. I have to say, I do. I think we can do it.
You wouldn't advocate bringing TFM in?
No.
So
let's go for it.
Exactly the same lineup as this week, yeah. Even if Ben Teke is 100% fit, you don't play him, yeah.
Or that now? Oh, yeah, I don't know. No, let's go for it. Let's stick with the same team. Let's see what happens.
Do you know?
They won't be expected.
Do you know who Carrot Cruncher is?
No, I do not.
Yeah,
who is this?
You do. Is that prick down in that bloke down in Cornwall that keeps phoning you up and saying, "Would you come on our show? Would you come on our show?" So Ben Allen is asking, Chris, who would you sign?
Yeah. What, in the summer?
Yeah. So we know we've got to make wholesale changes anyway because we've got so many out of contract. Benteke will go, but Kabay maybe. Who would you sign and why?
So controversially, I'd let go of Kabay. I wouldn't give him a new deal, but I'm in the minority there. I think he's paid a lot. I think he's on the edge where if we sign him another 3 years, we won't get great value out of him. I would go for Amadou again. Get him in from Lille. He's meant to be decent.
Excellent shout.
I mean, let's get him in. And Lille are in terrible relegation trouble and financial trouble, so that'll be a cheap deal. The deal for the goalkeeper I thought was clever. They've saved a lot of money there, although it's not ideal that he's coming in June. Who would we sign? God, I can't think of any names, but we have to sign a striker of repute. A lot. Who's the guy at Peterborough? It's a pump.
I saw his name. I saw him the other day. He's banging it in for fun. Mind you, didn't we do that? Didn't we do that with Dwight Gale?
Yeah, but you know what? I wouldn't be averse to bringing Dwight Gale back personally. I think he's grown a lot in the Premier League this year. Him and Benteke up front actually would have been interesting.
Yeah, I know. But your point, Chris, about Kabay, I actually said it. I actually said it on the show about 2 weeks ago. I actually believe that we should release his wages, because he's got to be on 100 grand a week plus. I would think he must be our highest earners.
One, yeah, one off, and why not? We've had some success. I know we'll buy like Amadou to replace, but what about Nia Kirby? If Wan-Bissaka's ready, I think Nia Kirby can feature in the squad next season, and we've got to push these kids through, and then let's save the money, because the striker's where it's at. If we had a decent striker, we're a top 10 team with that lineup. We are. You look at Bournemouth, where are they? 10th, 11th?
Yeah,
they're not as good as us. They're not.
And lots of comments going through the page there, mate. Lots of comments. And
Ron, no. Please no.
Mark Bushell says Danny Ings for me. Ben says I'd get Troy Deeney there. I said it. He said, but Ben, I don't know if you realise you're not alone, because Gel said the same thing at least a couple of seasons ago. Need 3 sides. Carl says we need 3 strikers if Benteke goes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Agree. I mean, look at the bench. Look at Bournemouth. They were able to bring on Josh King. That was a game changer for them. And we have no one to bring on all season in the striking department. Burnley, I think someone made the point. They've got Chris Woods, Vokes on the bench. These are they're not bad. They're not bad people to bring on, and we just have no one. So you're right. That's exactly the area where we're really, really, really lacking, and we have to address that. I think Parish knows that. I think they realise. But we paid for this. This wasn't about the January transfer window. This is about the previous 4 where we failed to address the striker, the goalkeeper consistently, and eventually our luck would run out, and it's run out, and we will be. If we escape this season, it will be due to luck, not good planning.
Okay, and I think it's fair to say that
Ashley Barnes
and Tammy Abrahams. How much would Tammy cost us, do you think?
God, no, I wouldn't. I don't think he's done it in the Premier League. I don't think he's no Chicharito. No, again, I don't think they cut it.
Richard Griezmann.
Yeah, all right. Yep, Griezmann works for me. Maybe we'll go in for the Fiorentina again for the 7th time. I can't remember his name now. Someone will know. Babacar
again. How many times have we been linked with him? Okay, apparently I'm getting told by himself, the Carrot Cruncher, to talk to you about the new stand. Your involvement. Have you got any?
Not directly, no.
Okay, so what do you know about the developments?
So we'll know about the stand. So there's, I think, when was the meeting? Is it the 19th? Mm-hmm. Is it 19th of April?
My birthday, by the way, everybody. Nick's 55th birthday that day.
Happy birthday.
I don't want to celebrate.
So the thing is, we'll actually know 3 or 4 days beforehand, because I think the council are obliged to release the report 3 or 4 days online before the actual meeting. So we'll know before that. In fact, it might be the Friday night before the Brighton game, or
that's this week then.
So yeah, we might know it as soon as that. No, I'm not directly involved. I've seen bits on it. There's some very interesting plans. A lot of it could be community focused. There's a lot of room, and they're just trying to work out how they can make it a success for corporate fans and community. I'm really hopeful it goes through, because if it doesn't, it's just gonna that is, where do we go as a club from there if that doesn't go through? We've sold out, I think, virtually every game this season.
Did you see that last on that subject? Did you see our capacity? Whatever we actually had 104% of our capacity last week at home. We had the highest percentage in the entire Premier League. There was lots in the high 90s. West Brom were in 93, 94%, because obviously they're in trouble. Blah blah blah. A couple of the others down there had probably. Ours is over 100% of our capacity. 1,000 fans over our capacity. We were.
Cram them in.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, the point of the stand is, and it's basic common sense. I mean, but at the moment at least, the TV money is parity. The only way we can differentiate ourselves from the opposition and to get more money is to increase our commercial income.
Yeah.
So to increase commercial income, like much as I hate saying it, we have to get the corporates in. We're in London. We have got a great advantage over most other clubs in this regard. So if we can raise more money from match day revenue, dramatically increase it, we become a whole lot more competitive in the transfer market. It's as simple as that. Plus I'll be able to move out of Block B and be able to hopefully sit with my daughter somewhere, because I'm not taking a 6-year-old into Block B quite yet.
Well, you're telling me my language is too bad? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I'm putting the
What about the Sainsbury's part of the development?
Yeah.
Are they blocking it?
I was having a conversation about that just the other day. I have no idea if that has been cleared or not. I mean, that's a massive hurdle that needs to be cleared, along with the issue about the 7 houses as well, by the way, that are just, in the car park. That's the other massive issue that needs to be sorted out.
Go on.
Yeah, and Sainsbury's, I have no idea, honestly, no idea if that's been sorted. But I mean, they could prove a massive stumbling block, as could the houses. But I think we'll find out a lot more within a couple of weeks.
The houses is quite an interesting one for me, because I was at the press launch of the stadium, of the new stand, okay, and there was Sky TV, there was Ian Abrahams from TalkSport, all the people you'd expect to be there were there, and old Philpott puts his hands up, okay, and I asked Steve Parish the question, and I said to him directly, can you tell me, please, compulsory purchase orders, how many have we served on the houses down on that corner? And it was a direct question. Needless to say, it was in the early stages. It was at the launch, but I knew, true to form, like a politician that he is, he sidestepped the question and didn't respond. But my understanding is there's only 2 or 3 CPOs being served for that corner because they don't need any more, and they're quite far in advanced talks. They're going to look after the people that they are going to move out.
Good. As they should.
And I think that's right.
As they should.
Well, folks, the time now is 8:15 on a Sunday evening. I'm sure most of you have got better things to do. Chris, anything? Your thoughts on the Brighton game before we go? Tell me about Brighton this weekend. How do you think we're going to get on?
We're going to win. I think we step up. We've got a history of stepping up for big, crucial games, and I think we'll really deliver this weekend. I'm absolutely convinced.
Your prediction?
2-0.
Scorers?
Zaha.
What, both of them?
Wickham.
Wickham? You're on drugs.
I probably am. No, Zaha and a Tompkins header. There you go.
Zaha and a Tompkins header. Oh, Carrot Cruncher obviously doesn't want us to finish because he's asking you 2 more questions. Any whispers on the new kit? Is it Puma? You can't what?
I can't possibly. He's asking about the new kit. Yeah, I've heard rumours it's Puma, but I don't know if that's actually true.
Listen, I want to thank you very much for giving up your Sunday evening. Folks out there, thank you all for joining us. Make sure you please like and share it on our page. Go on to our Red and Blue News Twitter account. Give us a like on there. Mate, Chris, thank you so much. Can they follow you on Twitter? If so, what's your handle?
I think it's at Clapham Grand.
It's at Clapham Grand.
So, yeah.
Nothing. Birthday present. Hang on, somebody was saying on birthday present for Richard Harvey. Oh, Richard Kingdom, 3-1. Richard. In case you don't know who Richard Kingdom is, he stands in front of me in Block B. Okay, and every game he puts, I think it's 10 or 20 quid on a 3-1 result. And he's come in a couple of times, obviously, but not. But all the time I've known him, it's always 3-1. He never varies from 3-1. So he's going for 3-1. No surprise there then. Apparently it's Richard Harvey's birthday this week, or just before mine as well. So happy birthday to you, big man. He stands alongside me in Block B. I hope you don't stand behind him because you never watch any football. He's enormous. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. Please come back and talk to us again. You were absolutely fascinated, I think. If you look at the top of the screen, you can see how many people are on there now. Okay, that hasn't changed for the last 20 minutes because of your interesting insights. Thanks ever so much for joining us, mate.
No worries. Thank you.
I'll see you at Sellers on Saturday. Yeah, come and say hello.
I'll say hi.
You do that. Cheers, mate. Ladies and gentlemen out there watching the show, thank you for joining the Red and Blue review. Obviously, I'm Nick Philpott. Jill Hodiak was with us. We were lucky to have Chris with us this evening. Guys, I'll see you again next week.